the residents of Rockhampton, life continues to be disrupted, but today it's a little less frightening. For the 1,200 people forced to flee their homes, it's time to start thinking about the future. Local nurse Sandra Davy and her family have been taking shelter in an evacuation centre set up at the university campus. But now she's preparing for the emotional task of returning to her home to assess the damage.
Personally, I'll just build myself up until I am ready to go back, and I'll just wait until the water's gone.
When the 7:30 report first met Sandra Davy as the floodwaters rose, she was anxious, returning to check her home every day after her hospital shifts.
This house holds a lot of memories in it. Hard to stay away. Even if you haven't got much, it's still valuable to you.
6 days on, emotions are still running high, but Sandra Davy is trying to get her life back on track and is now applying for government help.
Then the next step is seeing the damage after we can get back to the house, and go from there, I guess, and that'll be a whole new set of emotions, I guess.
Despite being optimistic the water did not reach her front door, Sandra Davy is still traumatised by the experience.
We didn't think that the water would get there, and then the water was coming out the backyard, and we all thought, oh no, so we had to go from there, to the evacuation centre.
Hold on, bubbies.
As the floodwaters were rising, the 7:30 report met supermarket worker Janelle and her husband David Hunt, who were ferrying what they could from their threatened house that they share with their extended family.
So it's hard on my kids too, because the other two know what's going on. They can understand mainly most of it, like we're going to lose stuff and everything, but the baby, he doesn't know what's going on.
Like many in Rockhampton's flood crisis, the Hunts were helped by friends and family. When the Fitzroy River stopped 20 centimetres short of its worst prediction, it meant the difference between reaching the top step or going inside the house for more than 100 people. But David and Janelle Hunt weren't so lucky, and now they too need financial help from the government. What will you spend the money on that you received today?
Well, at the moment we've got to get nappies for the little one and try and get some food.
David Hunt has returned to their street and says it's devastating. But it's a scene his wife is not yet ready to face. Have you been back, Janelle?
No, I don't want to go back to have a look.
Why won't you go back to have a look?
Because I don't want to see it. It's got to be hard enough when we go back when the water goes down.
But normality may be some time away.
One thing is we got told that we won't be able to live in it until there's new floor coverings put down because of the hygiene and everything else. So that'll just be a waiting game on where we can get the new floor coverings put down and everything else.
Can you afford all that?
Not really, no.
Authorities believe the water inundated 300 homes and hundreds more people lost stored belongings. It would be more than a week before the water falls significantly from its peak and residents can start the difficult job of cleaning up. And helping the community with that job will be Queensland's Flood Recovery TASKFORCE. The head of that mission, Major General Mick Slater, visited Rockhampton today. For him, this role takes on special significance.
Well, for a start, I'm a Queenslander. And it's a big job that needs to be done. And I think it needs to be done by a good team of people.
The veteran of operations from Kuwait to East Timor says he's focused on the long-term recovery of Queensland well after the flooding recedes.
I think this is an emotional situation for everybody. You'd be a pretty stone-cold-hearted individual not to be touched emotionally by some of the stories that you see around the streets. This is a tragedy.
The Sinclair family has been farming this land north of Rockhampton for more than 3 decades, and now 99% of their property is underwater.
Not much you can do about it, just gotta, hopefully it'll eventually go away, that's it. Hopefully my irrigator's still standing after it's finished. Yeah.
Every 2 hours, Jeff Sinclair and his son head out to inspect the irrigation system.
Tie down with those straps.
With their crop ruined, it's something they can't afford to lose. Adding to their woes is the loss of grazing land for livestock. Most of their cattle herd was moved off the property to higher ground, and some of their calves died when the deluge struck.
Yeah, they just scold and the wet weather gets them. You're 12 months behind with them, that's all. So all their hair comes off them, and then the sandflies and everything else eat them alive. Yeah.
But for the Sinclairs, life must go on. They don't know how long the recovery will take, but they do know they'll do everything to keep the family farm.